from Notre Dame that it might take and need to take to upset a team with that much talent. Whereas in the Alabama-Oklahoma game, while I would certainly pick Alabama, and they're probably rightly favored by double digits, you've got this electric ability for Oklahoma. I really believe that Oklahoma is going to score 45 points. I really do. Why? Because that's what they do. That's Saturday for them. This is a team that dropped 48 on the number 4 defense in America last year in the Rose Bowl. Alabama's what? The number 4 defense in America this year. I really believe that Lincoln Riley, with a month, with that roster, with that offensive line, with that quarterback and Kyler Murray, they're going to be in the mid-40s. So then it becomes, is there a special teams play, a stolen possession, a ball bounces your way, and all of a sudden you might be there. So that's why I think the team with the best chance to upset one of the favorites is Oklahoma, but it's because of their electricity. I don't think they're going to, but I think they've got the best chance.
I would disagree, Joel. Let me ask, what happens if Alabama says, let's play an old school game? Let's turn back the clock and do what Kansas did, rushing for 350 against Oklahoma. Army had, I believe, 350 yards. Can't Alabama just ride that running game, keep the ball away the way the Ravens are doing in the NFL, and keep Kyler Murray off the field? That's why I lean to Notre Dame. The line has come down a little bit. I believe it was 13.5 down to 12.5. And the other interesting thing is Clemson got lit up by South Carolina. They gave up over 400 yards passing. Clemson got lit up by Texas A&M. Notre Dame has 2 6'4" receivers. I think they're going to be able to move the ball methodically. I like the Irish. It may be an outright upset.
Ian Book is a really good player. He's an efficient passer, and those things are correct. The biggest weakness for Clemson is their pass defense, 500 yards to South Carolina, 400 yards to Texas A&M. I think that Notre Dame has a chance. The problem that I have with Notre Dame, while they're a great team, they've played so many close games against average opponents, and that just scares me a little bit when you're going up against a team in Clemson that was blowing the doors off of everybody all season long. Now, granted, in a down year in the ACC, but they didn't really play a close game after the A&M game. So it's interesting. Listen, these two teams are favored by this margin for a reason. They're the 2 best teams in America. This year probably has more in common with 2005, USC and Texas, where we have a clear top 2 and then a bunch of teams after that. Notre Dame and Oklahoma are just the ones that are going to go get a chance to play these 2 teams. But I got to tell you what, man, Alabama and Clemson are as good as they come.
Well, being that I just called you the smartest man in all of college football.
You're going to agree.
I'm going to agree with Joel Klatt.
Shocker.
I'm going to agree. No, here's why. You used one word about Notre Dame being dynamic. When I look at Notre Dame going up against a Clemson team, I just don't think that they have enough firepower to be as explosive constantly down and down, down in and down out every single time they get the ball in their hands. Whereas when I look at Kyler Murray in that offense, when I look at what Alabama has in recent past struggled with, their last 4 losses coming to mobile guys who can run the football as well as beat you with throwing the ball in the air, Kyler Murray is that type of game breaker. When you look at a guy like Kyler Murray, he changes everything that you've prepared for, given what he does on the football field in that moment. You can prepare all you want, but he's such an instinctive and reactional player, you can't prepare enough for a guy like that. And I think he can
in the Big 12.
And think about it like this too. He is Johnny Manziel on PEDs.
Yes.
He's all the dynamic nature of him in broken plays and yet more efficient down the field. He's faster, he's quicker, he's got a better arm, he's more accurate. That's the type of guy that Saban defenses have struggled with in the past. The problem for me is OU's defense, man. I got to tell you. I think OU's going to score in the mid-40s. I really do. I think Bama's going to score in the mid-50s.
Let me quickly go back.
Joking aside, I mean, I really do.
No, I would agree with that. The Clemson-Notre Dame game. So you said Notre Dame has been playing a lot of close games.
Yeah.
Joel, you got a young quarterback on Clemson, kid Lawrence. They haven't played a close game since September.
Sure.
Does that concern you at all?
Sure.
Notre Dame pass defense inefficiency is number 3 in the country.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I think that up front, Notre Dame is really good. Jerry Tillery and that defense is very good. Think about what they did, albeit at the beginning of the year, but to the Michigan run game. I mean, totally shut them down. This is a very good defense that could cause problems for Clemson. I think both of these teams have a shot to be in the bowl game late. I really do. I don't think both of the favorites are going to cover. But if you were to ask me, like, which one has the better potential to get the upset, you can't look anywhere but Kyler Murray. He's got that factor. 21 down to Texas in the fourth quarter. He's coming like a freight train. The game's 1 minute longer. He's going to win. You know, and there's something to him that I just don't want to bet against. That's why I lean that direction.
What a perfect segue. Let's move to the Heisman winner, Kyler Murray, who not only has to contend with Nick Saban's defense this week, but also with the endless series of questions about his future. Murray has already been drafted in the first round of the Major League Baseball draft by the A's, but reports are that his NFL draft stock could skyrocket if he shines against Bama. Murray says he's just focusing on Saturday's game, Joel. But should this weekend's game impact his decision?
Yes, 100% it should impact his decision. And here's the reason why. I happen to believe he should play football. But the only way that he gets the maximum value out of his football career is if he shows out against Alabama this weekend in the Orange Bowl, because his body of work is not as large as what we saw the body of work that Baker Mayfield had. Remember, Baker Mayfield had 40-plus starts. He had 1,000-plus completions and 130-plus touchdowns in his college career. We knew what he was. He went to the shoe and won a big game against Ohio State. Murray's only started for one season, has 300-plus completions. He's thrown 40-plus touchdowns in his college career, so his body of work is just not quite as complete. We haven't seen him against a defense the caliber of what Alabama is going to have. So his play in the Orange Bowl is going to greatly impact his draft value. If he plays great, win or loss, if he plays great, I think this guy is a top 15 pick. I don't think he gets past the 16th pick in the NFL draft, which guess what that means? It means a contract somewhere in the $17 to $20 million range, almost fully guaranteed for that first-round type of guy. That is so much better financially than anything he could do in the baseball deal. Just real quick, baseball, $4.6 million. That sounds really good, right? That's all he's going to make until 5 years from now, because it's going to take him at least a year, maybe a year and a half to get to the big leagues. Then his arbitration clock starts, and he doesn't get to have salary arbitration until another 3 or 4 years after that clock starts. So you're talking about 5 years before this guy makes north of $700,000 in playing baseball. He can make 20 in the next 4 years playing football, and he doesn't have to ride a minor league baseball bus. Sign me up.
I agree with you, Joe, and I don't have to go into extensive detail. It's really simple. You're playing against an Alabama team who has produced arguably top 2 as far as NFL prospects in all of college football. So when I look at that and his opportunity that he has in front of him, this will immensely shoot him up in draft status the way he performs this weekend. So for me, I look at what he has in front of him, and I know he's made the decision that, yes, I'm playing baseball. Son, slow down. Think about this big picture. A young guy who can play that position with that skill set, he has a lot to offer a lot of teams. And when you look at the teams that are up for quarterbacks, Jags at number 6, you got the Bucks who aren't sold on Jameis Winston at number 7, Giants. I don't think the Giants will take him at 9. He could potentially very well be a top 10 pick. So
I agree with everything said. Joel, I want to piggyback something you said. Yes, he is a little on the small side, right?
Sure.
But we're seeing the NFL changing rapidly, okay?
Yep.
Pat Mahomes is a Big 12 quarterback lighting the NFL on fire. Baker Mayfield was just the number 1 pick. He's 6'1" or whatever you want to say. The height doesn't matter. I just look at all these factors and the stuff Murray's telling friends, apparently, and it's starting to get out that he wants to play in the NFL. We just saw a team trade up into the first round to get Lamar Jackson, who people questioned. Lamar Jackson is having a really strong rookie season.
He is. And
really quick, Joe, before you even go, because you let the viewers know, you played baseball and football. How hard is it to really make that decision?
Oh, baseball's the worst. I loved football my whole life. My dad was a high school football coach. I was just a better baseball player, and that was where my opportunity was out of high school. So I tried it. It did not go well. Every day I played minor league baseball, I yearned to play football. It was in my blood. I happen to believe that that's a similar case to Kyler. He's a very good baseball player, and he's gotten lots of opportunities, but he would not be playing for the Oklahoma Sooners if his first love was baseball, because that door was already open. They offered him $4.6 million on the spot to go play last summer. And he said, no, I want one more crack at this on the football field. That tells me that this guy's true passion is on the football field. And I think sentimentally he's going to have a hard time walking away from that. There's also the NFL aspect of this in terms of value. There are 3 ways that evaluators would have knocked him down in the past. One is his system, 2 is his size, and 3 is the fact that young quarterbacks in the past had a hard time succeeding early in their careers. We've already seen the air raid. That trend has been broken by Jared Goff, Pat Mahomes, and Baker Mayfield. Short guys, Russell Wilson, Case Keenum's had some success. Drew Brees has had a lot of success. Baker's having a lot of success. That's starting to deteriorate. And then the rookies, look at all the young quarterbacks, guys, succeeding. Darnold's having a really good year. Trubisky's having a great year in Chicago. You can win, go to the playoffs, in particular if you've got a quarterback on a rookie contract. You can build around him. It's how Seattle won a Super Bowl. I think it's tailor-made for him, if he's successful tomorrow in that Orange Bowl against Alabama, to go be a pretty high draft pick and go play football next year.
Appreciate you always stopping by. Kyler, smartest man in college football. Pay attention to him. Coming up, the Lakers lost their first game without LeBron.